Please be seated. This fellow welcomes sinners and looks for lost sheep. Today is Recovery Sunday at St. Mark's. So why does our church dedicate a Sunday to recovery from the disease of addiction, which affects 10 to 17% of the people in this room? The real reason is that the CDC reports that excessive use of alcohol is the leading preventable cause of death in the United States, and the toll keeps rising each year. 1 in 5 households experiences alcoholism. Also, the United States has the highest rate of drug overdose in the world. A significant decline has occurred with the widespread availability of naloxone, which St. Mark's has been distributing. But drug overdose is still the leading cause of death in Americans 18 to 44. The Episcopal Church has been involved in 12-step recovery from its inception. Listen to these stories. 1934, Calvary Episcopal Church in New York City, the Reverend Dr. Samuel Shoemaker, rector of Calvary for the last 10 years, develops Calvary House, a hostel and center for ministry and small groups. He also runs Calvary Rescue Mission, where Bill Wilson, an alcoholic New York stockbroker, visits during his last days of drinking. Bill is influenced by E.B. Thatcher, a friend who is sober, through a spiritual program called the Oxford Group, led by Sam Shoemaker at the Calvary House. 1935, Bill Wilson becomes sober and spends more time talking with Sam Shoemaker in his book-lined office and attending Oxford Group meetings, as well as visiting Calvary Mission and Calvary House. So what does Bill Wilson have to say about the Reverend Sam Shoemaker? Every river has a wellspring at its source. AA is like that. In the beginning, there was a spring which poured out of a clergyman, Dr. Samuel Shoemaker. He channeled to the few of us the loving concern, the grace to walk in the consciousness of God, to live and love again as never before. Dr. Sam Shoemaker was one of AA's indispensables. Had it not been for his ministry to us in our early days, our fellowship would not exist today. Sam Shoemaker passed on the spiritual keys by which we were liberated. He was a co-founder of AA. The first 3 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous were inspired in part by Shoemaker. We're powerless over alcohol. There is a power greater than ourselves that can restore us by turning our life and our will over to the care of God. The early AA got its ideas of self-examination, acknowledgement of character defects, restitution for harm done, and working with others straight from the Oxford Group and directly from Sam Shoemaker, the former leader of the Oxford Group in America, and from no one else. These are direct quotes from Bill Wilson. Now let's hear from Dr. Shoemaker. I believe the church has a great deal to learn, not from any individual member of AA, but from the incredible collective experience of AA. I pray to God that what is happening pretty steadily and consistently throughout the fellowship could happen in every church. The AA fellowship is made up of people who are beginning to be changed, not saints, not perfect. We in the church can learn by this example. And if we think we're above it, we're in real danger. So next, let's hear the story of one of my medical friends in recovery. she gave me permission to share her story. She had her first drink as a junior in college on weekends at her aunt's home at the cocktail hour. She finishes medical school and residency and perhaps has one drink a day for relaxation. Then with her first job, working 10, 12-hour days, she develops this pattern where alcohol becomes a central part of her life. She returns home from the hospital after long hours, has 2 glasses of wine before dinner, 2 during dinner, and 2 after dinner, and then she goes to sleep, to awaken the next day to the same routine. She achieves notable success in her profession, but the people she's not there for are her husband and children. And when they ask questions about their homework at night, she simply smiles. She's a quiet alcoholic. She knows if she speaks, people will know she's had too much to drink. So she becomes quieter and quieter. People begin to see her as a very spiritual person. So the lesson here is, if you want people to think you're spiritual, just don't say much. She's filled with the Spirit, but a very different Spirit. She serves on vestries, keeping her mask of quietness, the perfect vestry member. She's cautious not to let her drinking interfere with her work. She never drinks when she's on call. She starts seeing a therapist for difficulties accepting life on life's terms. The therapist wonders if she might benefit from a 12-step group. No, AA is not for her. That's for people who live under the bridge and old men who smoke a lot. One work night, she breaks her work rule and drinks excessively. The next morning at the hospital is one of those days when she must be on her toes every second. She prays that if God keeps her from hurting anyone that day, she will never drink again. The next night, she's at her favorite restaurant, drinking champagne at a party honoring one of her partners. She's supposed to give a speech, but instead, she just sits there, smiling. She knows if she speaks, everyone will know she's had too much to drink. This night becomes a moment of clarity. She knows she's crossing the line from being a functional alcoholic. She knows she's powerless over alcohol and that her life is becoming unmanageable. Soon her drinking will interfere with her work, and many alcoholic stories are like this. Work seems to be one of the last aspects of life to be compromised. Her therapist connects her to a member of AA. This woman graduated from high school. Our friend has many degrees, but this woman knows more about living. This sponsor keeps her sober, taking her to meetings every day. Our friend soon learns that the answer to sobriety is a spiritual life, taking the second and third steps, knowing that a power greater than herself can restore her to sanity and turning her life and her will over to God. And when she hears this, she thinks, it's hopeless. She's a spiritual person. Everyone knows that. She's very involved in her church. But what she learns in AA is something she heard in church, but forgot. You've seen those bumper stickers, God is my co-pilot. Well, that was true for her, except she is the pilot. Her relationship with God is that God is there to help her own flight plan take off the ground. She's not turned her life over to God for God's purposes. She learns to live by the serenity prayer, speaking her truth, praying for the knowledge to discern which situations she can change, and accepting what she cannot change. She goes to AA meetings almost every day for 10 years, learning that staying sober is staying in community with a group of people trying to live their lives as honestly as possible with God at the center. Living the 12 steps means taking an inventory every day, making amends to those she harms, removing the mask that she's the perfect person. She makes amends with her family, whom she harms the most. Two of her children are in college, one is in high school. She's not been there for them for crucial times. Is it hopeless? She talks about making amends to one of her sons at a local restaurant. She tells him she wants to change. His response is branded on her heart. Mom, it's never too late to change. Mom, it's never too late to change. Soon all of her children leave home. Then they all return. Friends tell her how terrible this is, but she loves it. God gives her another chance to relate to her children and be a mom. She's now been sober for 34 years, 9 months, and 26 days, and she still attends a 12-step meeting once a week. She has 6 grandchildren who are the light of her life. And we often talk about what her life would be like without a 12-step group. She most probably would be dead. She would have missed that unbelievable joy of being a grandmother, an ordained deacon in the Episcopal Church, and being here with you today to share my story of how a power greater than myself that welcomes sinners and looks for lost sheep works in community to save my life. Amen.